We'll never know if Elon Musk once woke up on the better side of the bed and screamed, "I can do it!" perhaps out of one of his many inspired dreams about how he can send humans to Mars within a few weeks, rather than the usual 5 to 7 months it should take. And now engineers have suggested to him about an obvious fashion he could employ to send the Starship to Mars in a matter of weeks, and Musk marveled. Now think about it this way. Who would want to spend a full 7 months on a single journey? Traveling aboard the Starship, some people will suffocate and pass out. Many people would not want to travel, and it should not be an uncomfortable scenario in which Musk would want to place us. The good news is that engineers have come up with a completely new plan to take the Starship to Mars within weeks, and that is the real deal, since people will only want to be part in a type of quicker flying similar to how commercial aircrafts work. Hello, and welcome to TechSpace. In this video, we will present you to a crazy notion that engineers believe Musk might tweak to enable the Starship to reach Mars in a couple of weeks. And don't forget to watch this video to the end to discover the Earth-shaking Starship proportion concept that has been kept hidden for decades. Elon Musk is relentless, and he appears overconfident that his rocket firm SpaceX will land humans on Mars in 2026, where he intends to establish humanity. Musk stated in a recent audio-only Clubhouse interview that it will take 5.5 years for a crewed flight of SpaceX's Starship rocket to land on Mars. When an insider spoke with Gene Autry, a commercial space industry specialist who believes Musk will reach Mars in 2029 or 2031, either on his own or in collaboration with NASA. The window is determined by the Earth's alignment with Mars, which occurs every 26 months. However, Autry cautioned the space missions are difficult and seldom completed on schedule, and Musk's plan is no exception. It comes down to money and willpower. Elon possesses both, he stated. According to Autry, all of his initiatives, from Tesla to SpaceX to the Boring Company, have highly ambitious time limits and typically take considerably longer than planned. That should not diminish either his ability to set an aggressive deadline or the greatness of what he finally achieves, he added. Musk announced in January 2020 that he intends to transport 1 million people to Mars by 2050. This entails constructing 1,000 Starship rockets over 10 years, that's 100 Starships each year, and launching 3 Starships per day on average. There will be a lot of employment opportunities on Mars. Despite the fact that the Starship rocket has been tried and tested, Autry noted that the booster, life support system, re-entry system, and capacity to refuel on Mars are yet to be tested, and some haven't even been built. This means that developing technology beyond Starship to maintain a society on Mars will most likely take longer. Musk's lofty goals are the result of a combination of motivating charm, planning fallacy, and being uber-capable of getting things done. The only way to travel to Mars quicker is to build a spaceship with a propeller motor that is far faster than the Raptor engine. And what might that be? Let us find out. To travel to Mars, SpaceX's Starship will need a lot of fuel, and storing enough of it may be difficult. It will even alter the weight and proportion magnitude of the Starship. Musk's plan is to create Starships that can store fuel in orbit, but the process of transporting enough fuel to the stations is complex. What if Elon Musk chooses to convert from rocket propellant to solar sails for the Starship to make it move incredibly fast? The obstacles are tremendous, and there is the expense to consider, since space exploration is prohibitively expensive, according to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The technological difficulty of actually creating a Starship capable of reaching Mars is quite complex. Consider the fuel required to power the ship to Mars. The shortest distance between Earth and Mars is about 33.9 million miles, but this happens on occasion. For instance, it took the Mariner 228 days to reach Mars from Earth. That this flight happened around 1965. The Mariner 6 did much better with 155 days on another flight. 4 years later, the next Mariner spent 128 days, en route the same year the shortest on record, the first American spacecraft, the Viking 1 cruised for 304 days to reach Mars, while the Viking 2 took a whopping 333 days, a few days short of a whole year. More recently, the Mars Odyssey took a total of 200 days to reach Mars in 2001. But the most recent arrival to Mars, the Perseverance, stayed for 7 months and covered a total of 293 million miles before departing at an incredible 24,600 miles per hour. Keep in mind that cargo-carrying starships are making the journey ahead of people so that Mars can be more hospitable when humans arrive. That's a lot of weight to blast to and transport through space. Aside from the massive quantity of fuel necessary, the spaceship will require a different type of fuel known as methalox, which is methane plus oxygen, and it will require a lot of it. To make matters more complicated, Each spaceship requires massive quantities of fuel to escape the Earth's gravitational pull, and its fuel will be depleted by the time it reaches Earth's orbit. Don't forget that each of these Starship fuel tanks must escape gravity on its own, which requires a significant amount of work. And what if Musk decides to alter things up and utilize a different form of propulsion for the Starship? The use of solar sails is a technique of propelling a spaceship across space that does not need the use of a fuel or becoming nuclear, and it might work for the Starship. Musk's spacecraft will basically use the sun's energy to move away from the sun. It works like this. If you've ever seen boats moving on water, the wind pushes the sails attached to it. The same principle applies here. Attach sails large enough to the Starship, and photons from the sun's rays will hit the sails, propelling the Starship forward. Photons do not have mass, but their high speed gives them momentum, which can cause them to move the objects they collide with. This indicates that if the sails on the spaceship have enough surface area, they will potentially propel the Starship forward. But how large would the sails have to be to function for the Starship? We're looking at the size of a football pitch, and everything will be very large where the Starship is concerned, but as long as it is large enough, the Starship will move towards Mars. The solar sails are particularly great, as they are more environmentally friendly for anybody that is concerned with preserving the environment from pollution out there in space. The Starship may not be able to achieve that insane speed due to its weight, but it will certainly move quickly. It is worth noting that Bill Nye, the popular American science dude, specifically mentioned Mars when touting the benefits of solar sails, saying the technology could one day help deliver cargo to Mars. Interestingly, the precursor of the Starship has been active in solar sail initiatives. The Planetary Society, founded by space celebrity Carl Sagan and now led by Bill Nye, his former pupil, spearheaded the campaign to bring the LightSail 2 into operation. The first spacecraft in orbit driven purely by solar sails, SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket, was used to launch another spacecraft, the Proxy 1, which also carried the LightSail. After detaching the Proxy 1, the LightSail 2 was launched into orbit. The launch was regarded by Musk as the most difficult yet for his firm up to that time. The LightSail 2 was essentially a demonstration ship. It is the size of a loaf of bread and weighs around 11 pounds when fully unfolded. The surface area of two sails is 344 square feet. The sails are composed of a durable tear-resistant material called mylar and are covered with highly luminous pigments. The LightSail 2 has components that allow it to detect where the sun's rays are strongest and take advantage of them. If Musk was paying attention during the launch, he could have already considered constructing it on the Starship, which might address the problem of the Starship running out of fuel on one of the longest human-made journeys. Right now, what we cannot really tell much about is if the solar sail propel the cargo Starship, owning how heavy this type of space vehicle could be. What are your thoughts on solar sail technology? Do you think it's a feasible way for a Starship to reach Mars in a matter of weeks? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe. And while you're still around, why don't you click on one of those flashing videos on the screen for more content?